This is lesson 5-2, solving two-step equations, and it is going to start on page 270 of your workbook. This is example number 1 on the top of page 270. It says Nala and two friends spent $21 on movie tickets and a box of popcorn. How could they figure out how much each movie ticket costs? Okay, so there's a couple of ways of doing this. We're going to go ahead and figure out $21 on movie tickets and a box of popcorn, which is $6 right there. Let me change my pen so that that shows up a little bit better. There you go, $6 for popcorn. Now, some of you can just work backwards and figure this out. But let's work with some algebra because eventually it's going to be a little bit harder than this one. So we have our three tickets, and the $6 popcorn equals $21. So when you are solving a two-step equation, step 1 is going to be to add or subtract your constant. So add or subtract the constant. That happens to be the 6. So in other words, let's get rid of the popcorn. If we get rid of the popcorn, the opposite of adding 6 is subtracting 6. To both sides, please. 6 minus 6 is 0. Bring down your 3 tickets. And without the popcorn, this is $15. Your second step is to multiply or divide the coefficient. The coefficient is the number next to your letter. So the opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. That becomes 1t. Bring down your equal sign, and 15 divided by 3 is $5. Each ticket is $5. All right, this is the try it at the bottom of page 270. And I wrote down our 2 steps of our two-step equation. Step 1, you're going to add or subtract the constant. And step 2, you're going to multiply or divide the coefficient. But first, I guess we have to build this. So Andrew rents bowling shoes for $4. He bowls 2 games. Andrew spent a total of $22. So how much was one game? Now again, some of you can just do this in your head by working backwards. But let's see if we can't build this and then solve it. So he's going to buy 2 games of bowling. Because that is happening twice, it gets the letter. It's a number-letter combo. So this is his bowling, plus he bought shoes 1 time, and he spent a total of $22. All right, so step 1 is to add or subtract the constant. That's this one. The opposite of adding 4 is subtracting 4, but if you remember, I have to do that to both sides. 4 minus 4 is 0. I have 2 games left on the left side, an equal sign in the middle, and $18 on the right. Step 2, I'm going to multiply or divide the coefficient. Well, the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2, and I have to do that to both sides. That's a division sign. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so I have 1g is whatever 18 divided by 2 is, so each game costs $9. This is example 2 on the top of page 271. John has $21.61 as a balance on a gift card. that can be used to purchase online music. He bought some songs that cost $1.29 each, and now he has $10. How many songs did John purchase? All right, now they have your equation here for you. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. I don't necessarily like my variable term to look like this, so I'm going to make sure I grab the sign in front of my number. So I'm going to be charged $1.29 every time we buy a song. I have $21.61 on my gift card, and that leaves $10 left. Okay, these two are exactly the same. I just changed the order around. I can do that using the commutative property. All right, step one. I'm going to add or subtract my constant, which is right here. So the opposite of adding 2161 is subtracting 2161. This becomes 0. I'm going to change my color so we can see a little bit better. I'm going to bring down my negative 129D on the left, my equal sign in the middle, and 10 minus 2161 is negative $11.61. Step 2, the opposite of multiplying by negative $1.29 is dividing by negative, don't drop that, $1.29 on the left and on the right. Negative $1.29 divided by a negative $1.29 gives me 1D. Let me change that color. 1D on the left, and my answer is going to be whatever negative $11.61 is divided by negative $1.29, and I think it's 9. So John bought 9 songs. This is example 3 on page 271. A number of trumpet players is 2 more than 1/4 of the entire band. How many students are in the band? They already wrote that for you. 1/4 times the band plus 2 because it's more than gives us 18. All right. Step 1, we're going to add or subtract. So I'm going to look at this one. You always start on the side with the variable. The opposite of adding 2 is subtracting 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. I'm going to bring down, oops, let me pick a different color for that. I'm going to bring down 1/4 B's on the left, an equal sign in the middle. 18 minus 2 is 16. Step 2 is to multiply or divide. Still working on the side that has the variable. The opposite of multiplying by 1/4 is dividing by 1/4. If I do that to the left, I also have to do that to the right. Divide by 1/4 both sides. Let me make that look a little neater. My goodness. Let's try that again. Divided by, not much better, divided by 1/4. 1/4 divided by 1/4 gives me B by itself. And my answer is whatever 16 divided by 1/4 is. Now, some of you might try that in your head and get 4, but that is not correct. If you do it on a calculator, 16 divided by 1/4 is actually 64 people are in the band. All right, this is the try it on the bottom of page 271. I'm going to help you get it set up, and then I'm going to expect that you are going to solve this one by yourself. All right, Christy. Christy ran 24 laps in a charity run and then walked, so that's running. This is walking, 0 2/10 kilometers to the presentation table. The total distance was 29.6 kilometers. What was the distance of each lap? Okay, so I'm thinking, whoops, let me change my pen. I'm thinking that we're going to have her running plus her walking is going to give us the total. Now, some of those I can go ahead and fill in. For example, the total was 29.6. She walked 0.2. But it's the running that's the problem. We know she ran 24 laps. An L is kind of tricky. Let me do an X instead. Okay, now your job, step 1, you're going to add or subtract. Step 2, you're going to multiply or divide. I want you to go ahead and solve this. When you have an answer, I want you to come back to check. All right, so I'm hoping the first thing you did was you did the opposite of adding 0.2. Let's subtract 0.2 from both sides. This makes 0. And we're going to bring down your 24 laps, your equal sign, and when you subtract these, you get 29 4/10. All right, the next step, we're going to multiply or divide. So what is the opposite of multiplying by 24? Dividing by 24. 24 divided by 24 is 1x. That's how that looks. Bring down your equal sign and then use a calculator. 29 4/10 divided by 24. Each lap is 1 225 thousandths of a kilometer. Give yourself a big star if you had that right, or fix it if you did not. All right, this is the key concept on page 272. They write their work horizontally. I like my work vertically, so I'm going to show you the same work, just going a different direction. Step 1, we're going to add or subtract. So you're going to start on the side that has the variable, and you're going to ask yourself, what is the opposite of adding 27? That would be subtracting 27, but not just from the left, from the right as well. 27 minus 27 is 0. Bring down 5 x's, your equal sign, and 22 minus 27 is 95. Step 2, we're going to multiply or divide. The opposite of multiplying by 5 is dividing by 5. Both sides, please. 5 divided by 5 is 1x. That looks like that. Equal sign in the middle. And 95 divided by 5 is 19.